Hey, what's good, people? This is the Option Podcast. I'm Jason DeBiss. This is episode 161. Maybe. I can't count. Maybe this guy over here, that guy's Trevor Crabb. He might be able to count that for me. Guys, the episode starts right now. Let's go, Trev.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Cool, man. Thanks for coming, man. I'm closer to the beach than you thought, right?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, you trip, you fall, you're here, right?
Yeah.
Good parking, ain't no problem. So what's up, people? I got one of my favorite people. Everyone knows that it's no secret. I'm a bit of a fan of this guy, so it's kind of business and personal. Got Trevor Crabb in the house. We're gonna go split camera because I tried to do the switching myself and that didn't work. I had Kristen Nuss and for a half hour it was just fixed on Kristen Nuss. So before we got on the podcast, we had a little brief conversation about escapisms. I touched on that a little bit. So let's take that and dance with it. For me, because I was a part-time coach and a part-time commentator in New York, but when I decided to do this full-time, when your escapism becomes your career, I feel you need something else to escape to, maybe once or twice a week, or maybe a spot or whatever that allows you to come back and function like a mammal and do your job like a mammal. So, Trev, what would be your escapism?
For me, I mean, it's not getting too far from the beach. It's kind of getting in the water, in the ocean, and whether it's just swimming or surfing, just getting in the ocean and kind of calms me down and gets me back to normal and ready to go again.
Yeah. Oh, surfing or just swimming? Or?
Yeah, mainly I like surfing a lot, longboarding. I don't really get to do it as much out here as I'd like to, just because we're in season and I don't want to hurt the body too much. But even if it's just getting down into the beach and in the water, that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, I mean, just looking through your BVB page, right? I mean, because we got to do a little bit of homework, and BVB is everybody's like cheat sheet. That's our Shakespeare Spark Notes of volleyball.
Right.
Just on that alone, never mind Myrtle Beach, never mind like all the other tournaments that are professional tournaments. Do you think you played about 2,000 matches yet already?
2,000? Oh,
professional matches in your life? Just the stuff that's disclosed.
Yeah.
Alone looks like close 2,000? To 1,000. No.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just.
I mean, it seems like a lot already. I'm only hopefully just past halfway through my professional career, hopefully. So yeah, I'm ready for more than that, to get going. But yeah, I mean, I played a lot of tournaments so far in my career, and all over the place, all over the world, and all of them have treated me well.
I think the reason why I was saying that is because sometimes, over the years, in the main draw, you have these matchups against some of the same people, different variations, different partners. And I looked at all of the partners you play with. I go as far back as Evan Silverstrom.
Yeah.
New Yorker, Long Island guy, by the way. And now the head coach, right, of the Hawaii's beach team.
Yep.
Big up to him, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, very deserving, so hardworking. And
yeah, I was just training at their courts this past off season over there.
Where do they train?
At
Queens?
University of Hawaii and at Queens.
Yeah.
But they have courts on the campus that I usually train at.
How many?
There's 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty good. Good setup.
When I was at LMU, we only had 1. So we went to Playa.
Yeah.
I was John Mary's assistant with Betsy and Aaron. And Playa was good. And I thought, honestly, like Gulf Shores, the reason why I thought LMU did so well is because I think 75% of their training was literally on the beach with these, in the winter. In the winter, just now, the conditions are, right? Did you train out there the last couple of weeks?
Just Friday was my first day back here.
Gnarly as F.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as the weekend, but yeah, we trained Friday, and it's cold, obviously, and not as fun as training in Hawaii.
No.
Yeah.
I like Hawaii because very much like New York, if it's a humid day, the nightlife is good. You could have a roof party and not freeze your butt off. So there's the same kind of humidity. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, you're right.
Because I was there. LMU, we played Hawaii. So Me and my wife, I told John, save your ticket money. We're going, because me and my wife, we're going out 4 days early. We want to go to Turtle Bay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've never been to Hawaii, because New Yorkers don't go to Hawaii. We go to Florida, we go to Jamaica, right?
Exactly.
So, but yeah, so getting back to like all of the partners that you play with, as far back as Evan, I mean, you play with your brother on and off or whatever, three times finals with him, 4 times finals with Rosie, John Mayer, you know, one of the more intelligent players, and maybe even one of the more detailed players to play with, but not very not difficult if you're on the same sheet of music.
No,
We're going to talk about him in a minute. My question is, segue to all of this, because we could hear me talk all day, but this ain't about me, it's about you. Which partner did you enjoy your biggest volleyball growth spurt? As I'm not talking about physically, because at this level, everyone can jump, everyone can block. You got a lot of tools in the toolbox. We all get that. Right. From the neck up, those muscles between your ears, and conquering some of these demons, or just a mental approach. Which was there one or two particular players where you felt you had a growth spurt?
I mean, I would probably just say Rosie. I probably learned just the most from him. You know, it was my first time playing with like one of the legends of the game. So I got to learn so much from him. Before that, I was just playing with my brother, and we were just growing together, learning from each other. Didn't really have that veteran leadership on the court. So Rosie was kind of that first guy for me that I probably learned the most from.
Yeah. Rosie's also like the Pat Riley of volleyball, right? Like if you want to get to the finals.
Yeah, exactly.
Now winning that's up to the two of y'all when you get there.
Right.
But I think we both agree that is something we affectionately refer to as one of those good problems.
Right. Exactly.
I guess at some point let's talk about your brother. Let's talk about that now so we can get that part over with and have fun. Kidding. That's fun too. Now, the first meeting against your brother, I remember Travis doing a great write-up, and one of the best writers in the sport, right?
Yep,
Big up
he's
to
awesome.
him, man.
Yeah.
Because everybody else, honestly, they think they're good writers, but I don't mean to insult people, but some of y'all out there, that's like crayons from an ungifted child. Travis can write.
He is.
He said there was more level of excitement in the winner's bracket match against your brother than the actual finals. This is 2017. I'm gonna take you back 5 years. You played each other twice.
Yeah.
I gotta take you back because you played 2,000 matches.
Yeah,
all right.
Right.
Describe to me as best you can, because 5 years is a long time ago, and sometimes 5 years is yesterday because that's your brother, right? Describe to me what the atmosphere felt like, what the energy of the crowd felt like, what just staring across the court at your brother, 2 former partners, right? Gib and Rosie were also partners. That was something that flew under the radar. Wait, those guys were former partners too. Describe to me what the atmosphere, what it looked like to you, what it felt like. Was it different? Was there something that was like a level up as far as?
Yeah, it was definitely different just because, I mean, it was 2017 Hermosa Beach, right? So that was Rosie's, home court basically. So we had all the Rosie's Raiders there. The crowd was massive, the energy was flowing, and just going against Taylor for the first time, that brought just another level of excitement, going against, your not only your brother but your former partner after the breakup. So it was definitely a good match. We didn't play that well in that winners match game, but then we got to the finals and we played them again, like you said, and that was just a back and forth battle, and we lost in 3, unfortunately, a close one. But it was a high level game. A lot of intensity, and the crowd was awesome.
Yeah, and the finals went to 3, I think, and that one went to 2, but very exciting too. I was doing the beat back then for Volleyball 1-on-1 and just covering it, and like I said, this isn't only a match that has like finals implications, but could be the beginning of a sibling rivalry. I bring you Crabb versus Crabb, and everyone was like, he's right. I think as far as brother matchups, if we had to do last 10, I think you've done pretty well. I think you're like 6-4, 7-3.
He kind of got me early on when we first were playing against each other, but in the past few years, I think I have the upper hand on head-to-head matches. So
yeah. You bring a lot to the toolbox too, right? You are the crab that can play backward defense, that can block. No one ever considers you an undersized blocker because when you play big at the net, they don't talk about those things, right? Like
Right.
I'm sure there's a significant height difference between you and Phil, or you and
Yeah.
some of the other bigger guys, but very much like Ahmed, right?
Mhm.
No one
Yeah.
will call him undersized because he's got the reach and this
Right.
and that. So, I guess I'm trying to segue into Theo because Theo, guys, wait. Tell me who your new partner is.
Theo Brunner.
Theo
good.
Brunner. That's
Yeah.
right. I saw Theo playing with Ali Son and splitting block. I saw him out there just scrimmaging or whatever, having a good time
Yeah.
against Dietrich and someone who I call Sexy Jesus. But have you gotten to train with Theo? Is this
once
a new
so far.
relationship?
This will be our first full week together, starting today. So
Yeah.
we're looking forward to it. Both of us are fired up, ready to go.
Give me something you thought Theo did really well last year. I mean, he does everything well, and he's known for his blocking and this and that. But if you had to pick one thing that you thought he did particularly well last year that helped him win Hermosa Beach, and always at the scene of the crime in the finals, right? Like
Yeah.
Manhattan Beach was the finals too, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously his blocking is his, biggest, I think, skill that he just takes over the net. Whether it's, a smaller guy or even a bigger guy. Theo is like 6'8", jumps really well, so he can get up as big as anybody else in the world. So definitely looking forward to playing defense behind him. That's for sure.
Okay. Well, I'm not letting you get away with that. Let's be a little bit more specific. Something about blocking. Is it wait time? Is it deception?
Yeah.
He's got a good dive in on the 5.
He has
Let's talk volleyball.
His reach is really good, so he can kind of jump straight up and down and reach to the sides very well.
Yeah.
And block like the low line or the sharp angle. So he doesn't really need to have that big explosiveness. He can he's got that fast twitch in him, so he can kind of pounce up really quickly, which I think helps, being able to do those fast reaches.
Yeah, he's again. I'm a fan. That's the other guy. I'm a fan of 3 players, and 2 of them are on the same team. So get used to seeing the guy in the back with the Yankee hat.
Yeah.
I promise I won't do no yelling, okay? Because I had a yelling match with the Rosie's Raiders, but we went out to karaoke at Tower 12 the same night.
Yeah.
And that guy, I forgot the guy. There's always one guy that's kind of like the ringleader. I can't remember his name, but he's an older guy, and that dude made sure I didn't have to pay for drinks on that. And I thought that dude was a mensch, man. I thought that was really cool. And
Nice.
and he's like,
Yeah.
dude, just keep singing, man. Just keep singing, because that's my escapism.
Yeah.
I do that twice a week.
Nice.
My major is theater performance, so
wow.
I'm not performing anymore.
Right.
I did Broadway and off Broadway for like 5 years, but so who's your coach? Who's going to be the coach?
We just hired another Brazilian, Pompilio Mercadante. So
Excellent.
Yeah,
I'm glad you got the name right, because I mess it. I've known Pompilio for 5 years, and I mess up his name all the time.
Yeah.
That's actually a good 2-headed choice, right? Is Leandro, right? Who I think is one of the best 3 coaches out there, right? I mean, if I had to pick 3, I'd pick him. I'd pick Jeff Alzina.
Yep.
I guess we're talking about the domestic scene. That could be a 3-way tie. I'm gonna just give everybody the respect, and I'll leave the audience to decide that.
Right.
But Pompilio, I had the pleasure of working with him in the summer.
Yeah.
As well as Leandro, and as well as Arturo, Jeff Samuels, remember Oz Borges, Cuban guy, the best coach no one talks about. This is a guy who's teaching these kids how to play real volleyball, and when they switch to some of these other clubs, some of the coaches, they're teaching them more, and some of them are just jumping out in front of the parade and saying, that's me. But Oz, so I got to cite him. Oz is a mensch. So sorry if I'm talking too much, but I got to plug people we don't talk about. But what's one thing that attracted you to Pompilio? I mean, he's a very good drill-based coach, and he's very, very good at getting as much information to you in so few words.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, well, I already worked with him. He was our assistant with Jose when me and Tri first started the run for Tokyo. So he was our assistant for about half a year. So I've already worked with him and loved, his style of coaching, his drills, and he's, been on the world tour for many years, and, so he knows all those teams really well. So it's going to help with all the scouting.
No doubt. Yeah. An example of him using fewer words for the most information. He once said in practice, "Good serves makes good defense."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the number one thing you can control is your serve. So if you can have a good serve, you don't have to worry about defense as much if you get them out of system, right? So you
Mm.
always want a good serve, that's for sure.
Well, I personally think, well, talking about serve, I personally think and professionally think that's the one thing that divides mid-level open players to the higher echelon of open players,
Hmm.
right? We're talking about indoor. Difference between double A and open is the middles, probably, right? You need
Right.
good middles, but at this level, you're always going to find guys that could block and set each other and blast the ball. But serve is king,
Yeah.
and good serves make good defense. Do you know? I would have told you a whole paragraph where you could just listen to him instead of me and say and not listen, not waste 30 seconds of me trying to explain that to you like you're a a-hole. And that's what Pompilio brings to the table.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you. Last year, self-examination. If you had to pick one thing, let's talk about the physical now. Let's talk about the neck down. If there's one thing that you could pick in your game fundamentally that you'd like to do a little bit better. You'd like to see a little bit, not significant improvement, because I mean, where you can crash the ceiling is only so high. So all right, question time. Give me one thing physically that you'd like to do a little bit better coming into the season.
For me, it's been digging more of the hard driven balls that are coming at me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've always read the game really well, so picking up the shots have always been a little easier for me. It's just those, getting dug in the pocket and those hard driven balls coming right at you are something that I've been working on and trying to get better at for this year.
Yeah. Is there such thing as being too low for the dig as far as hard driven on the beach? Like
Um,
indoor, being low is really, really good. But
mhm.
sometimes if you're too low, like you ever see the way John digs, Mayor?
Yeah,
He's balanced. He's low,
yeah.
but he's not.
I'd say balance is the number one thing.
Right.
It's more important than being, too low. That's for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So that's the one thing?
Hmm.
All right. How about from the neck up? What's one thing you'd like to do better?
Um,
You do a really good job taking care of your controllables. So these are going to take your time. These are challenge questions.
yeah, yeah. Maybe just getting a little bit better in the scouting department, myself, and not relying too much, on the coach to do that.
Right.
So whether that's just coming together with Theo and talking about, the strategy and stuff like that. Yeah, just kind of getting the intangibles for what we're going to do against the other team, and not relying on our coach to give us too much information on that.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing in the world like video, right? You
Hmm.
you see these patterns, and believe it or not, even some players, even mathematically, you can figure them out.
Hmm.
Like you played Case Beer and Allen in the AVP, which I thought was their best tournament of the year.
Yeah.
I coached against them in the beginning. I was coaching Jeff and Jeff
Okay.
and Vaughn, and
Hmm.
we watched video the night before, and my 13-year-olds from my club team,
Yeah.
LA Volleyball Club, Jason Al, there's a Hawaiian
Hmm.
name. My girl said every fourth shot, Case Bear goes high line power or high line shot. And I'm like, this ain't math. This is volleyball. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? So we watched the video, and it was cross, cross, cross line, cross, cross, cross line. And I'm like, you got to be
Okay,
Eshing
good to
me.
know.
You got to be kidding me. So then one of Chris Vaughn's friends, I forget his name, John Ferrari,
Yeah, I know.
played a masterful tournament at Coconut Beach a couple of years ago. He's terrific with
Yeah.
Dentler. Sent us a text. He's like, 75% of his shots are cross. And I'm like,
Yeah.
did you say 70? Did you say 75%?
Yeah. 3 out of 4.
So I'm actually going to show you. I'm going to put it up on camera. I'm going to show you a graph because I'm with John. I do pull charts.
Hmm.
So I want to show you a picture of Case Beer's activity. Actually, give me a second. So Case Beer's activity on the pull chart was ridiculous. I'm going to unplug this. I'm going to plug this into my phone. I'm going to show you how this works. All right. Let's double tap. And there we go. Let's put this on camera 4. Sorry, let's do that. So let me see if I could blow this up. Come on, dude. Technically nothing's working today right now, Trev. So basically, if you can see the zoom in on that, look at the very top.
Yep.
What does that look like? Like, look at the top left. It's
left.
cross, cross, cross line.
Yeah.
Cross, cross, cross line, right? So that's a pull chart for Jeremy on side out. And the one that's to our left is like transition.
Right.
That's a transition thing where he just, creates a string or wherever he goes. Mm-hmm. Now look at the one on the bottom. The one on the bottom right, that's Billy Allen.
Yeah.
So we chose what we thought was the easier path to winning, because Billy Allen, that looks gnarly, that looks crazy. So we didn't want anything to do with that. But and we tried, whatever. First game's 24-22, and at the end of the day, the better team won. So so videotape is important.
Yep.
But a piece of advice from a longtime coach, but also just a longtime human being. Never watch too much where you suffer from paralysis through analysis.
Yeah, right.
What's right? Tell the audience what paralysis through analysis is. Tell them.
I mean, that's just losing your mind, basically.
You're taking in so much information.
Yeah.
That you end up doing nothing.
Yeah.
Actually, let's talk a little bit more about the neck up. We coaches, most of the coaches I know, want to talk about emotional highs and lows. All right. And we usually say for every 5 points you get emotionally too high, you're probably going to give up 8 or 9 on the lows. They teach us big waves crash. Small waves you can ride from peer to peer. Mm-hmm. So as the audience, as the crowd is cheering or the crowd is booing you, and you face the crowd and you're like, come on, right? You could do better than that. Or come on, give it to me. I feel your positive energy. How do you... This is a weird question, but work with me on this one. How do you hit the reset button? You get a good block, you know what I'm saying? Or like someone tips it and you just like, boom, get that out of here. And maybe there's a little stirrup and then there's the crowd. Are you aware of mindful of how to hit the reset button and not ride that wave too much?
For sure.
Let's talk about emotional highs and lows. The floor is yours, my man.
Yeah, there's certain times, I think for that, and I think energy is one of the biggest, most important things mentally, for the game. So if I ever need kind of like an energy boost or something, I'll kind of get involved with the crowd or just with the other guys on the other side of the net, right?
Yeah.
That's when I need that energy boost. And if I'm not playing well, or when I am playing well and just, like you said, riding that wave, to do it then as well, get involved with the crowd. But yeah, I mean, there's always I think after each point, there's always a separate reset button, mm-hmm. Whether that's, just kind of, what I do sometimes is I, go and touch the back line, with my foot, and that kind of resets me for the next point. Because in volleyball, obviously it's 1 point at a time, and every point's a new strategy and a new game in itself. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's good for the sport. I think there's my mic. The interaction with the fans in a sport that's still trying to find ways to grow and then grow again and grow again, right? It's volleyball as a professional is the ultimate roller coaster ride, and I don't always mean that as a good way. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, and I think you know where I was going with that. But because you found a way to do that, you're good for the sport. It's good for the sport, and I hope we get to see you out there doing more and more of that. So let's talk about lightning rounds, baby. 60-second
Cool.
Lightning round. We are going to talk about. Let's pause that. Your 3 favorite venues to play. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Let's turn on my there it is. There's our clock. Why does it say 59? No. It's supposed to be a minute. There you go. So, Trevor, you have 60 seconds. You can get into detail. Or if you're just a straight and simple guy, just boom. Yeah. I'll save the rest of the 30 seconds for later. What are your 3 favorite venues? And are we talking domestic?
We can go anywhere.
All right.
Anywhere.
How about 3 favorite venues in the world?
Okay.
The floor is yours, my man.
All right. Well, obviously, I'm a little biased towards Manhattan Beach. That's in my top 3 for sure, just because, the atmosphere, we got the best fans, I think, in the world here in Southern California. And obviously just, 3 3 pure wins. So that gets in the top 3. Second one would probably be Stade, Switzerland, just because there's no other venue like that. You know, you're playing up in the Swiss Alps, up in the mountains, in basically a ski resort. That's top 3 as well. So last one in there. This one's tough. I'll probably have to go with Chicago as a sleeper. You know, just because it's a great city. The backdrop is awesome. You know, and if you're a fan there, just looking at the volleyball, then looking up at the the buildings right there, then you're on a lake as well. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
You chose 2 of your 3 venues. You chose a venue that where the backdrop is like breathtaking, like Chicago in the back.
Yeah.
Like if you do the camera shot, like the back shot, and you see the buildings in the back, very much like New York, which is why New York is my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, Manhattan Beach, that's a must. I mean, not only is it where people are playing their best volleyball at the right time, not only is it a tournament where like no matter what's happening, no one's gonna miss.
Mm-hmm.
But you won that with 2 different partners, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your first one was with Reed Pretty.
Yep.
You guys split block?
Yeah. Split block. Yeah, that was one of when we first got together. I was like, I want to keep split blocking, and and he was down for it, so it worked out.
He's a super athlete too, right?
Exactly.
He's fresh out. He was fresh out of indoor with as minimal permanent injuries as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually when you're 38 and you decide to leave indoor, your body's done.
Yeah.
And how that guy, because we train like idiots indoor. we really do. I mean, you're training now. Soft impact. Someone needs to teach you how to land. Okay, right. You could jump. How do you land?
Right.
Are you landing on one leg after you take off with 2? On that one leg. Yeah. Ooh, and a really quick match point. Did Jose say you were blocking?
I think I kind of said something like, I'm gonna go up and block right here, and it worked. Yeah.
And Jose is like, yes, you show some respect. Respect this man. He's going to block.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. Really quick with me because I already did mine 100 times. I did New York, Manhattan Beach, and New Orleans. There was something intimate and at the same time festive about playing in New Orleans. I was there in 2021. Small tournament. It was Rafu and Piotr against Evan Corey and Logan Weber. And Nussen Cloth beat the Brazilians by forfeit because of humidity.
Oh, wow.
They cramped out. Wow. Both players. It wasn't forfeit to one. It was forfeit to both. Yeah. Also, I think you'll agree with me. There's something to say about playing in these regional ones or these next or whatever you want to call them, that prepares you physically for the other tournaments where you only have to win like 5 games or whatever. Yeah. What do you think?
Those are way more taxing on the body, which is, obviously a reason we don't play those, but because we need a break. But those you got to play like the tournaments are only 2 days instead of 3, so you got to cram all those matches into 2 days instead. So if you can get through one of those and come out on top, then physically the other tournaments, shouldn't be a problem. Obviously, you're playing against better competition, so it's a whole nother game ball game right there. But it
really is. So, all right, let's say you got a young person who's playing indoor, but he's got a little bit of interest in the beach. 1 minute, 60 seconds again. I want you to give this young person, he could be 16, he could be 18, he could be a little pup, he could be my 6-year-old daughter, for Christ's sakes. I want you to give me 3 sales pitches on what you like on the beach over indoor. You are qualified because Punahou High School, you play basketball and volleyball, and I want to say basketball for the end, so we just have a little fun. Right. But of course, I got to cover my volleyball bases, or the podcast malpractice. Right. So give me 3 sales pitches, because I forgot Long Beach State.
Yep. Right
outside OH. Right.
Yep. Outside.
3 sales pitches. What you like about the beach over indoor? Go.
Number 1, you're outside on the beach whether you're in the sand or also next to the ocean, right? You can't beat that. Number 2, you get to work on all the skills. You're not just set at one position. So if you're a middle blocker and you never get to pass or play defense, now you get to come to the beach. You get to do everything, right? Lastly, I think just, you get to just go out. You can just go out there and play games with your buddies. 2-on-2, 4-on-4, whatever it is. That's one of the best ways to get better as well, is just going out and playing games with your buddies. Yeah.
I think there is something to be said about choosing your partner too, instead of indoor, where a lot of your partners are chosen for you. And sixes, right? That's always going to be.
Yeah. You only have to deal with one other guy. Choosing one partner. You don't have to deal with a whole team and worry about getting along with the whole team.
Yeah. Also, there's no bench on the beach. I mean, as a coach, in the club scene, some of these indoor parents are like gangster rappers, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
And you're walking around mean mugging people at Anaheim Convention Center. It's like, dude, relax. You've won. Okay, chill. Yeah. But outside, the mothers are like, they got a little wine in the back, right? They're eating chicken fingers. Yeah. So, all right. So, moving right along, because guys, this is going to be a shorter episode. This ain't a 2.5 hour pop, guys. At what point was there a particular tournament? Because I ask everybody this question. I have to ask you. Is there a particular tournament or a match where there, at some point in your volleyball life, that you left that tournament or that match that was like, okay, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to do full time. Or I can do this for real. Or this is what I want to be when I grow up. Go ahead, babe.
I think maybe going back to when I first started, I was playing with a guy named Steve Vanderwerp.
Yeah.
And we qualified for Huntington Beach AVP. I was like my second or third ever AVP, and qualified. And then that was kind of the moment, I think, one of the moments where I was like, okay, I'm here. I'm with the top guys in the U.S. Qualified. I made it. So let's give this thing a go and see where we can go.
Nice. Yeah. All right. So we got one more thing to do. We got lightning rounds just for you, because the last 2 times you came on and we had fun with lightning rounds. I think you were like Kobe Bryant, right? So lightning round questions, and then I want to talk about just something fun at the end. I know we got a hard stop, and I'm keeping track of time, and we both are. So let's start the clock, and this is all for you. These are quick questions and quick answers. If you need to elaborate, take your time, because the way you're going, you'll probably be done with 20 seconds to spare. You are an efficient dude. Okay. All right, let's start the clock, and here we go. Favorite comedian?
Ooh, I gotta go with, I guess, Dave Chappelle.
Me too. Last good book you read?
Talent is Never Enough.
Wow. Oh, Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Cool. Pool or beach?
Beach.
Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter?
Lord of the Rings.
Favorite sport outside of volleyball?
Basketball.
Nice. Favorite action film star growing up? Growing up, like the first one that came to your mind.
Yeah. I guess Sylvester Stallone.
Nice. Favorite athlete growing up?
Karl Malone.
Wow. Dude, I love this guy. Last question is going to require 10 seconds. Are you the best player in the world?
Yes.
Perfect. Yes. Okay, I'm old school, but I'm going to educate some of these new school people. For anyone that's ever watched Ghostbusters, right? Mm-hmm. The woman asked him if he's a god. He says no, and she almost threw him off the roof. And then they saved each other, and they pulled each other up. And Ernie Hudson says to Dan Aykroyd, next time someone asks if you're a god, you say yes! So I'm glad you said that. Are you a Lakers fan?
I am. Not as much anymore. No. I was the Kobe fan, that's why.
Yeah,
so
followed the Mamba.
Once he retired, I didn't really care too much about them. Yeah.
I guess because he left a big void to fill, right? That even LeBron, who I think is the off the court GOAT and very close to the on the court GOAT, is hard to fill, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we're having GOAT discussions, but I'm like, geez, is he even the best Laker? Right? I mean, think about all the Kareem, Magic,
Shaq,
what? I know. Wow. So you didn't watch last night?
I was at the game.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I went to the game. My cousin was in town from Hawaii, so they went to the game and brought me there. So I probably go to like one game every other year or something.
Yeah. What was with the non-calls on the fouls, dude?
Oh yeah. Well, there was just no defense anymore in the NBA, so it's like the score is out of control. But yeah, it was a good game, and yeah.
Yeah. Who's gonna win this year?
I'm hoping the Nets. I'm a KD fan, so
That's my team.
nice.
I
Yeah.
left the Knicks.
Yeah.
Good. Trevor, we got about maybe a minute left. I left the Knicks.
Good,
I couldn't
good
do it
choice.
anymore.
Yeah,
I couldn't do.
they're terrible.
Tell you what, when Dolan sells the team, come see me. But
Yeah.
but until then, I'm from Brooklyn. Yeah. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, Flatbush Avenue. Make mine the Nets.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the beginning, you had one guy you didn't even know he was going to play volleyball.
Right.
I forgot that dude from Philly, right? Then you got this dude that thinks the Earth is flat, and then you got Kevin Durant that wants to be traded, and I'm like, ooh, did I just jump out of the frying pan and into the fire?
But they turned it around and they're doing good.
Yeah, they are. And like we thought they would.
Yeah.
Like we thought. You have a bunch of winners, and you just need a coach that can show them a little guidance, but at the same time, get out of their way.
Exactly. Yep.
But make sure they get out of their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, man. So I got some good reads behind you, man. Tim Kennedy, Stars and Stripes. That's the one on your right shoulder.
Okay.
Barack Obama. Barack Obama. I'm not gonna get into politics, but he's my favorite president in my lifetime.
Yeah.
He's just a good statesman where the world sees that guy and it's like it respects him. And I'm like, but I'm like the last two. I'm just like, God, if I lived in Italy, I'm like, that dude's a clown. All right. So people want to know more about Trevor. Is there your IG? Give them your IG handle, or is there a particular website that they want to be down? They want to know what you've been up to, stuff like that.
I got a website. Just my name, trevorcrabb.com. IG is kingcrab808. So yeah, check me out. And if you ever see me in public, just come say hi and what up.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, when Manhattan Beach comes around, let's get you in. Let's get Theo in. I got great whiskey upstairs, vodka.
Nice.
We can take our time with this. I know you're running a tight schedule, and I am, as a podcaster and a volleyball coach and commentator, but moreover an avid fan of yours, an admitted fan. I'm eternally grateful. So thanks for this. All right.
Awesome.
All right, guys. So Trevor might love you guys, but I don't like it. In fact, I can't stand any of you. So for all of you at home, for all of you on your iPad, for all of you on your desktop, who runs the world? Old school people. Old school. For my man, Trevor Crabb. I'm Jason DeBiz. This is the episode 161 of the Option Podcast. And stay with me. I'm going to hit my music and we're out.
Later.
Come check out the Option Podcast on optionvb.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.